the early phases of the game. Like what I've mentioned, they were roaming around together, manpower at play. But what cost? They weren't able to scale enough, and this is where we are seeing Onyx PH show some dominance. You could only see the prioritization in terms of resource stake, and Onyx has the upper hand. But again, Blacklist here won't really go down without a fight, as well as they are slowly, compensating for their loss. But this is also another question that comes to your mind. With that, compensation, do you think that Onyx PH would let that happen? Because we are now seeing some, advantageous points right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Wise also not really joining the team fights too much in his own regard, because he's just trying to see if he can get some resources on the map while everyone's just so busy. Aqua, meanwhile, on the Esmeralda, just wants to keep everyone, look at me, look at my big health. That's what he's trying to do. And everyone else just, but somehow, Blacklist is still in this game pretty much with a pretty minimal gold lead for Onyx PH. So Aqua looks really scary on the Esmeralda. That's what they're trying to bank on, while everyone just tries to get farmed up.
Indeed, and Blacklist is in a good position to get this potential turtle take, but the carry will be able to get that steal away from Blacklist. Okay, Falling Star Moon onto Fuzaken right here, but Fuzaken is the Grok though. Time Journey will be used to forward that unnecessary debuffs. Going back here, and Grok will be using his Guardian's Barrier to really knock away the members of Blacklist, to leaving them no choice but to disengage.
Yeah, Vilar just getting pestered here a little bit by Koopa, while his master tries to get some farm on the right side jungle. And so far, the mid lane, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to defend that tower for long. But they are gonna try to see if they can get some kills here with a pretty solid Falling Star Moon coming in from Aqua. Sees if he can get something. Again, Vilar not too tanky against someone who just absorbs all of your shielding. Will be forcing the Uranus to back off, while once more getting chased by dogs. Vilar just not really having a lot of fun here.
True, but this is the prettiness, or the beauty of having a well-fundamental draft rock card, because they are the ones in control. They are the ones stapling the momentum that Onyx is currently giving them. And of course, Killer will be forced to use that flicker. Again, that is minus resources for the side of Blacklist, because that flicker may be essential come the later parts of the game. But going back, I love the transition of Onyx from the top to the middle. Time's Journey is going to be used to debuff, but Wise will be using the terrains to go for that second skill. Again, Aqua with that shield, but up to what extent? He is pinned down, but Iaknu will be going for the chase. Uranus will be getting the kill onto the top side, middle side, and now transitioning to top. Low health members of Onyx, but that's not gonna be enough, because they are the ones applying pressure. A forced tower dive will come into play, as that beautiful Wise damage will be shown. And Grok just going all out right here. Ladies and gents, this is just a good spice.
Surgical tower dive coming in from Onyx PH on the top side. Everyone dying almost at the same time. Pretty beautifully done. And the rest of Onyx PH as well, getting a tower with a lot of mid lane pressure and a turtle to boot. I would say not too shabby here for the guys in yellow. So far, 7-1 against Blacklist International with a 5k gold lead. And Wise, he's having fun. This time around, this guy is getting all the fun with Vilar, just, taking all of the hits, as a Uranus should do.
Yes, this is what I mentioned earlier about Onyx PH knowing who will be getting that space, and that's Wise, and that was demonstrated pretty well executed earlier. And DR, he's just taking all of those damage because he knows he can tank them all up in time for the other members of Onyx PH to go to their aid. And this is what we are seeing right now. The pressure is on both the bottom lane and the middle lane. And just looking at this, I like it that Onyx PH is also not in a rush, considering that they know that they are aware that they have the dominance.
Yeah, they know they are ahead, and as usual, they will flex it a little bit in the mid lane. Fuzaken right smack dab in the middle. Huge rush into a wall, knocks everyone up, but not going to be that effective to take him down. That's going to be a sacrifice for Fuzaken for basically nothing. And I would say a pretty weird call coming from Onyx PH to pull that off. I mean, I'm not sure what he was trying to do there, but Dexstar, a beautifully done time journey, stopped that Grok in his tracks.
Definitely. I mean, the Grok was picked off, but you know what, Rockhart, that left a good opening for Onyx because earlier, this left them, not they lacked the resources already. They wasted a lot of skill sets for that one single pickoff earlier. So I think that this is a weird call for both of the teams because Blacklist could have gotten more. It's just that they weren't in a position to get more.
Resurrecting soon.
I mean, that's true. And there was an opening there where it was going to be a 4v5, and Blacklist didn't really want to go for it just yet. So they want to see if they can get their Riddler into a pretty good position in terms of items, because he's 1-2-1 right now. That's not really going to cut it. And Dexstar, who's the strongest hitter here, Aqua, who's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of frontlining, but they can't finish people off. They can do a lot of damage, but they can't execute them properly. Right now, they're gonna see if they can bite into the metallic frame of this Uranus. Who's again swapping in a little bit, switch, as they say in Japan. But looks like that's not gonna be any problem here for the big duo. Again, Aqua going for. Okay, that was a bit weird. They basically just played around there while Wise went for a solo lord. That was beautiful, almost solo lord.
That was a good way to waste your time and to give Wise the space. Indeed, and this is now the shot or the call for Onyx PH, to just patiently wait for the Lord, apply pressure onto the middle while they disperse to the other lanes. And this is a good thing. This is a good call because ZR is pretty confident in getting all of those damages because he could retaliate that easily. And speaking of easily, another team fight might come into play, Rockhart. Look at that beautiful success in picking offs. That Esmeralda, with her being out of the game board, it only goes to show this leaves a lot of space for the side of Onyx PH to just push.
Yeah, looking good. Bottom lane looks like it'll be free as well. Dexstar with a measly time bomb cannot really defend here against the huge forces of Onyx. They're on the side, seeing if they can still pad that KDA. Stop them in this tracks, but looks like not gonna be happening. D-Lar going strong. Everyone just going loco. Iacno with the last kill of the game as the win goes over to Onyx PH.
I told you so. I told you so. If this was a revenge game for the Popol and Koopa, it's not gonna work because look at what the overall performance of Onyx PH. It was sturdy, it was patient, and it didn't necessarily need the kills. It just needs the resources. It just needs the scales, which they, decided to focus on Wise, and the other three just became barricades all and through. And that is the thing that Popol and Koopa and the company weren't able to compensate them on. Sure, there were picks here and there, but the thing is, it wasn't a well mix with overall draft.
Yeah, this game overall is just a low kill score game because that's just how it is. You have a lot of tanks in this front line. You have a lot of supports. They're focusing on the macro more. And again, that's just how you play Mobile Legends quickly. Onyx excels in that.
Indeed, and this is where I say I told you guys. And speaking of guys, let's see what the panelists have to say. Wolf and the gang, take it away.
Thanks so much, Sayan, Rockhart. Absolute dominance from Onyx PH in that game number 3, at least in the series, after winning that lopsided match, I think is the term. And we did say that this is going to be a free game for the Thams and the Uranus, and indeed it was. There was 0 deaths on both heroes, not even touched this game, and it's wonderfully done by Onyx PH. But Swarly Leo, what are your thoughts on that game? Did this outcome is this what you expected it was to happen?
Man, it was the disengage from Onyx was just so good from that Rafaela buff as well as the Grok block that even 4 flickers from Blacklist just wouldn't cut it. It's crazy.
Yep, this is essentially what Onyx introduced in season 4, just polished
Yeah.
throughout their run into the grand finals of that same season. So this is just them bringing out essentially the moneymaker. You know, it's what your mama gave you. And essentially, they were facing down a blacklist lineup that even we in the collective cast of the MPL PH season 5 crew were wondering, what's their core? Are they trying to build into an Esmeralda? Are they trying to build into the Popolin Kupa eventually? So there were a lot of questions on the side of Blacklist International. So with that kind of approach, really, you can't help but walk into a matchup that looks exactly like this. It was very fast, and Dilar here had the time of his life on the Uranus. Not to even speak of what Wise did. Wise was just farming all the whole game, and eventually solo the Lord. So eventually, we finally got it right in the panel. Third time's a charm, boys. Onyx PH got the series.
And despite the
I think
result
that-
of the game,
yeah.
I like how Blacklist still tried to adjust. Because compared to game 2, with how PNK played out, in game 3, he was a lot more active from the start. He was actually part of the invades early on against Onyx as a jungle. It worked out kinda well for them because they got the carry kill, but once Onyx wisened up and started to rotate, it was like Blacklist just couldn't keep up. But the mentality of switching it up, I have to commend it. Blacklist still tried to adjust and try to find the sweet spot in playing the Popol and the Koopa.
Yeah, Leo, this is now the question that's running through my head. Now, we saw Blacklist. They want to win and get back into the at least in the top 4 of the group standings, and they played so well against Onyx PH in game number 1. But game number 2, what happened in there was them walking into the trap that Onyx PH set, and it looks like a trap that's already apparent to all of us. It is a standard draft from Onyx PH, and they still went through that and really had it coming for them. What is now the lesson for Blacklist as they will approach the final days of the regular season?
These
It was
kinds of
weird 'cause-
situations. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It was weird because in game 1, I felt the main reason they were so effective was because of that Hellcurt. And they need, like, their lineup, their roster, and their draft really likes playing that Natalia. And I felt that Hellcurt, it was the pseudo Natalia that they needed. That's why they won game 1. But they didn't go back to it, which I felt really weird. I wish they at least went back to it in game 3 because it was open.
Mhm.
I think what they can learn from this is an interesting, because I was gonna say, I'm sorry I cut you off there, Swarley, but eventually this is a lesson that's gonna be hard for them to learn as a whole, right? Even Coach Bon is gonna think about this twice because they got one against Onyx. They got one against number 2 here in the league. So with that being said, I hope they look at this and they're able to compartmentalize what went wrong and what went right. So maybe the Popol and Kupa needs to go back to the drawing board. Maybe the Hellcurt, maybe it has a place in their lineup. Maybe even the Kagura. They can whip it out even more in the remaining weeks of the MPL. But with that being said, I don't think this should put the spirits down of the boys from Blacklist, especially for Edward and Riddler. They were essentially maybe the weakest links in these past 2 series. But with that being said, I think they're going to be safe. They're still in the top 8 for sure. But the next few days of the MPL is going to be very rocky if they continue on this streak.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is not game over, to say the least, for Blacklist. In fact, that they can learn a lot from this. They have, you said, Leo, they have taken one game away from the top 2 team, which I think now they are at top 1. They have the same amount of series played with Bren Esports. They have a better record at it, and they are looking really promising. Now the question is this enough for Onyx PH to get back into the finals? I know it's too early to say, but at least for me, I feel like it's the time for them to get back into the grand finals, or at least in the playoffs of MPL Season 5. Do you feel the same way, Swarley and Leo?
I definitely feel that they are way hungrier than Bren at this point because after last week's, when Bren got 2-0'd by execration, we questioned their hunger. And after losing game 1 against Blacklist International, they just recomposed themselves and dominated. the true Onyx way, in true Onyx fashion. And I think they are really prime for that grand final run with Oh My Venus wants that crown. Wants it bad.
Despite not taking the trophy last season, Venus still rocking that crown. No other support has been hailed as well as he has. But the thing is, I think our eyes after the series has to go on Blacklist. Onyx PH, they're just performing as they should. There's nothing too crazy about Onyx really. I'll be honest, and that's not a bad thing. But Blacklist here, them being the new kids on the block, especially having very young players. I think I'm gonna have to watch them over the next few weeks because really, I feel for them, especially for the past couple of seasons as Evos PH. So now, with this 1-2 defeat, I really want to see them step up and maybe make the Popol and Koopa work in their next few fights.
And I
Maybe
feel
the
for
final. Go ahead. Sorry.
and I feel for Blacklist that they should really just try to find a way for them to enable Edward more because I feel Aqua is a consistent player. Like even in those losses, Aqua was doing what he needed to do. But in the games where Edward couldn't do what he wanted, Blacklist just looked very, very shaky. So I think moving forward, they really should try and to enable that man more.
Yeah, I think that they were successful in the previous weeks because of enabling Aqua, like you said, and the rest of the gang just follow through with the momentum that they are building up in this guy. Do you know? I have a pressing question here. Now, this is actually to help and benefit the other teams because now they will have to be facing Onyx PH that we are seeing the primal Onyx form, right? Or the Onyx draft, the Onyx way, right? We are saying that this is the Onyx way because we see them do it time and time again and they're successful with it. Now, how do you answer this? I'm sure that we have watched more games or we've watched a lot of games enough for us to know, well, we are casters and we us even know that this is the Onyx way. But for the teams that will be facing Onyx page, what should they do to counter or at least answer this Onyx way?
I feel that for you to beat, you can't try to beat Onyx mechanically because they are too mechanically gifted. If you want to beat them, you have to get in their heads, which is a very, very hard task. And Blacklist pulled it off in this game. They beat them once, and it was also a mental effect because of that Dark Knight Falls. It really threw Onyx PH off their game because of that. So I don't think there's a consistent way in pulling that off each and every single game. But if you get into Onyx PH's head, they are beatable. But if you're playing their game, just pack your bags.
Nice mental approach there, but I think when it comes to the draft, there also is maybe a few ways to break through the fundamentalist approach of Onyx PH. Given, the surprising amount of burst from that Kagura, and of course the Hellcurt, right? The silence, it just really changes the pace of the game. You're bound to catch Onyx PH off guard. In addition to the mental attacks that you could bring in.
All right. Thank you so much, Leo, for your insights. You're still watching MPL PH Season 5, and this is brought to us by Smart. Together with PLDT Smart Foundation, in partnership with Smart, we can help our frontliners as we stand together to be the real heroes in these challenging times. Support our frontliners through SMS by texting DONATE to 3456. It's DONATE to 3456. Donation is open from April 22 until July 16, 2020. MPL PH Season 5 is also brought to us by our sponsors, Realme Smartphones, Logitech G, our headset partner, and organized by Moonton. That's just our first series of the day. The next one is actually also very exciting. I think Brain Esports will be playing. I think that they will be playing against STI. Very important match for STI, for Brain Esports, as well as they want to keep their group stage standings intact. That will be after this break. Stick with us, guys. MPL Season 5 will be back.
Game to be great? Now you can with the new Smart Giga Games 99. Get 1 gig data all day, every day for Mobile Legends and more. Game to be great with Smart Giga Games 99.
served in the war. When it came to taking medicine, the man was non-compliant. He tell me, hey, what would you say? If I could build a little vessel that could take us to another time and place.
Realme C3, triple camera, gaming monster. Realme smartphone.
Game to be great? Now you can with the new Smart Giga Games 99. Get 1 gig data all day, every day for Mobile Legends and more. Game to be great with Smart Giga Games 99.
Download for free. Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
In time minus 10.
The situation
9,
is critical.
8,
the data doesn't
7,
seem right.
Check pressure. It can't
5,
be stopped now.
4, 3.
Okay, get ready.
1. Launch.
Game on, party on.
That hurts. Where am I? Stay back. Don't come near me or I will not go easy on you. Huh. You're hurt.
Just like that, the story of Pawpaw and Koopa began, under strange circumstances.
Wanna take a bite?
And so Koopa and Pawpaw shared their first meal together. Despite being trapped in a dangerous pit, they both felt a warm feeling growing within their hearts. days quickly passed and our two little fellows didn't have much food left.
Shoot! Let me go! Ow! Huh? You saved me? I think I just found myself a new friend. Popple and Koopa are the best partners in the world!
Time. Defeat the enemy, I'm full of energy. I can lead a team to victory. Got the first blood, too legendary. Taking you all out, go RIP for another layer. Ay. Let me see you moving, never gon' stop. Ay. Epic fight queen, that's so hot. Ay. Let's celebrate, we got two shots. Come and battle, come and battle. Ay. Let's hit the next level. Ay. Come and battle, come and battle. Ay. I'm the real game, right rebel. From Earth to space, we party place to place. Sunny from Earth to space. Mobile legends of the race. Party on, game on, game on. Party on.
There'll be a party every night. Don't hold your breath, let's play tonight. Game on, party on. Tell me who you're gonna be, that's on your mind. No one can stop, it's time to shine. We are young, things will be fine. Danger comes, I won't hide. We are leading the trend tonight. We are young, things will be fine. Danger comes, I won't hide. Legends won't fade away tonight. Party on, game on, game on, game on, party on.
This is how we be topping a session. One family, that's how we present it. We got fans from all over the world and come together and we show them how we do it. Form team, fight for justice. We all gon' make it worth it. We gon' fight for the purpose. Fighting the evil with crystal brightness. Come and battle, come and battle. Ay. Let's hit the next level. Ay. Come and battle, come and battle. Ay. I'm the real game, right rebel. From Earth to space, we party place to place. Sunny from Earth to space. Mobile legends of the race. Game on, party on. Party on.
It's good to see you.
Killing spree. Godlike. Legendary. Double kill.
It's good to see you.
Legendary. Your team destroyed a legendary. Executor. Legendary. Legendary. Ally
Download for free. Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Game on, party on.
Experience the youth suffer.
Legendary! Legendary! Triple kill! Maniac! Legendary! Double kill!
Greatest.
Legendary!
Back in action for Mobile Legends Professional League Philippines Season 5 group stages. My name is Wolf, your panel host with Swarty and Leo, the panel for today. Swarty, Leo, this is a very interesting match, to say the least.
Definitely.
STI got to go up against Brenny Sports and Swarty here. Oh, it wasn't Swarty. I thought it was Swarty. He was betting that he's going to change his name if STI wins this match.
No. That's
What about you guys? What are you expecting from this series?
And it's like people are saying they just need to win one game for them to do something. Yeah,
Hello? Hello. All right. Swarty is
Hello?
stuck as well as I am.
Hi.
All right, we're back. We are back, right? We're good.
okay.
Swarty.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think we're back.
We're back. All right. Sorry. Yeah, you were
I
saying.
hope so.
Yeah, I don't remember what you were saying because I did not have a chance to hear it. But yeah, very quickly, what are your expectations in this match? Okay, I might have lost them.
Swarly?
Okay.
Swarly, are
Swarly.
you among us, Swarly?
Swarty's not among us, man.
All right,
You're gonna have to
I
save
can
him.
answer the
All right.
question, I guess.
All right, go.
Okay. I think Bren at the top, STI in the bottom. It's as David as Goliath as you can get. You know, this is the most gargantuan task that you can ask of STI, and I don't blame our co-broadcaster Reptar for putting that odds on himself. I don't know if he's gonna do it legally, but again, STI they haven't been coming up to par, and they're struggling to get their game wins, not even series wins. So with that being said, I think you know what they say about the definition of insanity, right? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something different to happen. So maybe today, you know, they try something new, but if in game one it doesn't work, then dig deep in their heart of hearts, and then maybe 2 and 3 can come out, you know, better than usual, or you know, I don't know.
Yeah. How about you, Swarly? I know you wanted to say something earlier. Yeah. Can you say like really quickly right now?
Oh, what? Because I was just checking out the comments earlier from the Tagalog stream, and people were saying everyone was just trying to make bets what they would do if STI won just one game. You don't even have to win the series. Just if they win one game. It was crazy. That's like, where's the respect, people? They're still pros. They're better than you. Don't off them just like that. But in this scenario, yes, this is definitely gonna be. This is not just a David versus Goliath. I don't think we can call this a David versus Goliath because David had a chance, and SDI I don't know how much of a chance they have. It's the king of the hill. It's the kings of the hill versus the cellar dwellers.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to say that David had a chance? We weren't there. We weren't around a couple of times.
Very
David could
good
have been
point,
like what? David could have been what? 4'5", 82-pound kid, and Goliath could have been what? 9 feet tall, bro. So who are we to say, right? Who are we to say?
Yeah. Yeah. But nevertheless, now here's the thing. This is a difficult task, right? For STI, but I'm gonna give you a difficult task too. What should be the approach for STI if they want to at least win a game versus Bren Esports? If that's the case, you have Nixu, UG, Kripsu, Document, Lembel, and Lard. Honestly, players that are good win from their previous team, and individually they're good. But what is happening? How can this misfits win versus Bren Esports?
I think, yeah, you said they were good, right? Because on paper they look like a good thing. So it's definitely looking like a locker room problem, but we can't really we can't read too deep into that. So as long as they play on the same page and stick to their strengths. Because what I'm seeing right now is their only real successful hero, quote unquote successful, is carry. So I think they definitely should go with carry in this game. They played it 4 times, I think 4 or 5 times, and it's the only hero they look comfortable with so far. And their other roles, I don't see that much promise yet. So baby steps.
Sorely
Pick the
pointing
carry.
out,
Yep.
yeah, sorely pointing out the hero that sucks. I like that, but also I think based on history in the previous MPLs, which is interesting because all of these guys, this is not their first role. If anything, if you put all of their years together and their season runs in the MPL, they're the most tenured. So essentially what I'm saying here is if you're gonna go back and see what works in the previous seasons, if they're gonna have to rely on carry as their most how do we say reliable hero that might yield good results. I think if there's a player they're gonna rely on here, it's Mr. Consistent. It's the Mage Dad himself. Maybe Yuji needs to come back to his season 1, 2, 3, 4 days season 4 yeah of the MPL, right? Like you need to go back to those days, pull out the old Harith, you need to pull out the old Loon, you know what I mean? Like it's to show the world once more that these guys were put together for a reason. They're not fits maybe the league as a whole, but together I'm hoping that this is their chance to show us once more. Remind us,
Yeah.
and have one of our broadcasters change their names.
Yeah, that will be a treat for us, definitely. Now, you're still watching MPL Season 5, presented to us by our sponsor, Smart. And together with the PLDT Smart Foundation in partnership with Smart, we can help our frontliners as we stand together to be the real heroes in these challenging times. Support our frontliners through SMS by texting donate to 3456. That's donate to 3456. Donation is open from April 22 until July 16, 2020. MPL Season 5 is also brought to us by our sponsors, Realme Smartphones, Logitech G, our official headset partner, and organized by Moonton. Now, order of business. It's Bren Esports versus STI, and I'm sure they're going to be having a big party if STI or Bren Esports wins this series. The RE party is still ongoing, by the way. Just look into the client, the in-game client. 515 e-party still in full swing. The official music video for the 515 e-party is up, and make sure to join in on the fun by checking it out in-game. All right, Ready Sports versus STI. What should we look now in terms of their strategies? I think that we talked enough about STI. Bren Esports, this team is, as expected, a top team because of the players that they have. They just recently lost against SGD, but that was the only surprise that we have. But so far, Bren Esports, they have been living up to the promise of their lineup. But Bren Esports, anything you want to say about this team and what we can expect from them coming into this series?
I think Bren will definitely be angrier this time around because they're just coming off a loss, right? So it's gonna be even, like we already said, it was gonna be hard for STA. It's gonna be even harder because Bren, if you're coming in from a loss, you're gonna be hungrier.
Yeah.
And if they're angry, they're gonna play their game, which we didn't see in Bren's last series, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's
well. Looking back, Bren's defeat to SGD, it was off the back of Kenji's Angela, right? And that kind of caught them off guard. And I think this past week has been a long time to reflect and to think about what happened. And I'm guessing, this is by no means a prediction or a statement. I'm just guessing, this is just what I'm feeling, that they are not as angry as you guys think. It's not a state of rage or even a change of pace. Like, this is no time to be angry. All right, you guys are going up against STI, and looking at the leaderboard, it you're so far apart. And essentially, what I'm saying here is, Bren Sports, they're coming in here. This might be one of the few times that they can come in relaxed, right? Maybe the mental reset is what's more important. And the week long that we've last seen them suffer their first defeat, it might be that time. You know, the more tenured team, or at least the team position now that Bren is, they shouldn't be angry. I think that's just my thoughts here. They shouldn't be angry. We can even maybe to bring out a Popol and Koopa that works. That's what I'm saying, because I've seen them do it. I've seen them do it. Few, that madman, he made it work in another game of theirs that I watched. So that's maybe something you can expect here in this series.
You know what? Bren Sports just recently lost the match against Signal Ultra 2-0. This is a game that's outside of MPL Season 5. It's literally just this afternoon. I was watching and I don't know what to feel. I mean, I have seen Signal Ultra lose so many times against Bren Sports before this.
And this is a new Signal Ultra. This is a new Signal Ultra.
Yeah, the new roster.
New Signal. Yeah, new roster. Not part of MPL Season 5, unfortunately. But yeah, it's still the same organization. Some entirely new roster compared to what we saw in MPL Season 4. And they lost. And that is interesting to me. But what I can say about that match that I watched, I think they have to put few in those heroes that complement the skill level of this player, right? Because they put him in Carmilla, they put him in these passive heroes that I feel does not give justice to what Few can do, right? Few is a legendary player here in the Philippines. At a certain point, he's like the best player, not only the marksman, the best player in the country, right? And I think that everybody will agree with me with that. On that. That being said, I think that they have to activate this player, right? That's why they lost against SGD Omega. And I think that all the fans out there, specifically of Bren Sports and Few as a player, will want to see their Lodi, right, be doing amazing with high skill cup heroes. But Swarly, Leo, do you feel the same way? Do you want to see UG as well play more active heroes in complement as a complementary to what I just said?
Well, like Leo mentioned in the last series, that going back to fundamentals is important, and putting into mind that Bren has lost a few series coming in to today's matchup, you wouldn't expect them to just go with something that works. So I doubt they'll probably go for a PNK right now, because I don't think they want to lose right now, especially knowing that Onyx won their last game. So we'll probably see, I don't know, a Kimmy and a Granger, heroes that they've made work multiple times in the past.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I that's news to me that Bren lost the signal earlier today, because just yesterday, that's why I keep saying Popol and Koopa, Popol Bren Sports. That day, I saw that happen day. So with that being said, I think that's gonna change the way I was talking about how they're not angry, because I think the concept of fatigue might come into play here, because they're playing back-to-back games, right? If it happened earlier today, that means they're going into the MPL tonight against STI, maybe a little tired and a little frustrated since they got O2'd by one of their oldest rivals. So with that being said, I'd like to agree with you, Wolf, that maybe, you know, El Capitan, Mr. Arcangel himself, Few, needs to be activated. And take him off of the Carmilla. Take him off of the odd... Well, the way that they play Carmilla is core. I'll have to agree. Yeah. But take him off the side lanes. Make him do a little more. And bring us back to the old days wherein Few is a little more active. And they let him do few things.
Yeah. That's what we want, right? So the few things, right? The idol of the kids form for Few. Nevertheless, guys, I know you're all excited for the fun and action for STI versus Bren Sports, but we have to go to a very short break. When we come back, it's the actual game. So stick with us, guys. MPL Season 5 will be back. Back in action for MPL Season 5, regular season. My name is Wolf, your panel host with Swarley and Leo. We are still watching Brand Esports versus STI. We had a little bit of break. I think that the teams had to fix some of their technical issues, but now we're back on track. You know what? Brand Esports versus STI. We've said a lot of stuff already about these teams. Now, I want to ask something that's maybe out of just these two teams, right? This is like the bird's eye view of MPL Season 5. We are playing online, completely online. And I think that this is already known by our viewers, the casters as well. But question is, do you like this at all, right? Because the only thing that I don't like about being online because is that we might see teams being affected by playing online, right? The performance of the teams when they are playing online. But that being said, I think that they still are playing as together as a group. It's just that the technical issues might be affecting them. Answer that question after me saying this, because MPL Season 5 is brought to us by Smart, our together with PLT Smart Foundation. In partnership with Smart, we can help our frontliners as we stand together to be the real heroes in these challenging times. Support our frontliners through SMS by texting donate to 3456, and donation is open from April 22 to July 16, 2020. It's also brought to us by our sponsors, Realme Smartphones, Logitech G, our official headset partner, and organized by Moonton. Yeah, sorry, Leo. What do you think about, having the league completely online? Just like our online e-party, right? It's still in full swing, and the official music video is still there. Make sure to join in on the fun and check it out in the client. That's also completely online. But yeah, with the league now online, how do you feel about it?
Well, it's definitely going to be a disadvantage for most players because the magic of LAN is having that lowest ping possible. And if you're playing online, you're probably going to get 50 to 100 ping depending on how good your internet is. So it's going to be a disadvantage. Plus, interestingly, I have something to add there because I was watching the MYSG playoffs as well. And they had the cameras on the players as well. And some of the players, interesting, were playing like lying down. Some of the players were playing lying down on bed. So I guess there is being relaxed is a good thing, but I feel it's a double-edged sword as well. Because sometimes the saying that pressure turns coals into diamonds, right? So because if you're playing in front of a live audience, you are gonna play differently. But if you're playing from the comfort of your own home, you're relaxed, you're lying down in bed, then it's different. I feel like some players that would be they could do 100%, but vast majority of them that could be a disadvantage because mentally, if you're not in the best mental state, you aren't gonna perform as much as you'd want to.
I love the fact that the league is continuing. I love the fact that we're still making a show of it. And despite everything that's happening around the world, the MPL still forges on. But the thing is, you're right. The spectacle of a physical space and then making an event of it where people can see the idol of the youth or Lasty Mac or the Mage Dad, on the ground live, that makes for magical moments. And I think
that's true.
Besides the magical moment, more important is the consistency of the experience. And being online, you're introducing so many other factors, make it be physical or even things that you can't control, like internet connections. And I think that's one of the few things that we have to work with. It's a compromise, but again, that's essentially what all match is when it's raining. The pitch is going to be a whole new battlefield that you have to fight on. And the season will have to go on this way, and we'll do what we can. But essentially, everyone is fighting the same battle. STI, they're working with the internet. Bren, it's the same. So I guess we just have to go on this way.
Yeah, and I think that
right.
slowly teams will adapt to this, right? But obviously, it's not it's not anybody's fault that we're doing this. We are happy that this is going on. Yeah, but we just hope it passes. Yeah, right. But yeah, sorry, you were gonna say something.
I just wanted to add like making a spectacle out of it. Some players, you gotta think like Russell Crowe in Gladiator. Are you not entertained when a crowd cheers for some of these players? That is when they are actually enabled. Like when they're hyped up and playing their game. Like remember Jeff Cutie Forever in MPL season 3, right? Like he was so hyped up after the crowd was cheering for him so bad, and he just played the game of his life afterwards. We're not gonna get that now, unfortunately. So just make do.
Unfortunately, yeah, I do agree. I just hope this passes, man. Honestly, it sucks to have this problem, but all honesty, we're doing fine. Yeah, we are adapting fine. I think that we are watching more games than we used to. That's actually weird to say, but yeah, I think on average we are watching more games than we used to back when we were allowed to go out of the comfort of our homes. And yeah, we take what we can, and I think that we should be thankful that this is happening, that MPL season 5 is still happening, free for everyone to watch, right? That's just amazing to know, right? It's reassuring. Nevertheless, I think that we have to move on. I think that we are going to start the match pretty soon. In terms of Brenny Sports going up against STI, what heroes do you like to see? Of course, PNK is available. Not sure if any of the teams are playing it or have mastered it. And Brennan STI, they have their own hero pool. How about you guys? What do you think is what can we expect? I mean, in terms of the hero picks and bans in this matchup.
Now, in the first half of the season, actually, interestingly, both Bren and STI are two of the teams that favored Granger the most. Like, combined, they picked it 8 times together in the first half, which is pretty interesting. So maybe we'll be seeing that again. But Granger has fallen off, according to some. But if there's any team that can make that hero work, it's definitely the two of them.
I think that guy thinks like that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Rio, do you think-
it's a good combination of just stats and the feel. You're right. The first half of the season, Granger was still being picked up, but as it is, the 2 weeks that we've been online, and even the last couple of weeks, we had live events. Granger was just nowhere to be found, right? And then teams that force him out these days, they just see that, you know what, the mid-range marksman not there anymore. It's either you go all the way late like Carrie and Bruno, or you go with the massive mobility in Claude, or even like an assassin like Ling as your main core. But as for hero choices, I know for sure, and I've seen that Brenny Sports can rock Popolin Koopa, and again, as a build upon of our last conversation before the break, this is one of the heroes that maybe few can pick up because it's a good combination. It can play support, just like what the Brenny Sports lineup wants him to do anyways, but it also is technically a marksman. So in the late game, when push comes to shove and the going gets tough, the tough get going, and few is tough.
Yeah.
I made that analogy work
I have
some
a
way somehow,
question.
but eventually I will answer your question. Go ahead. I'll try.
Well, because you've been watching Bren, right? So I think you are the most appropriate person to answer this question. Because interestingly, like in the games that we saw, Popol and Koopa today,
Koopa.
they
Love
worked
it.
with Avarice and Flicker. Is that how Bren was running it in the games that you've watched?
Nope, it wasn't Avarice. It wasn't Avarice. Well, to be fair, disclaimer, it was a 2-0 series by Bren in a best of 3, and they only played Popol and Koopa once, but it wasn't Avarice. It was Focusing Mark. Oddly enough, it was Focusing Mark. So it wasn't as rich a Popol and Koopa, but I can tell you for sure, I'm not sure if our teams are watching, but I will tell you anyways. It was a very tanky build, Popol and Koopa. Let that be like a little bit of a trivia for a teaser for you if we are to see it in this matchup. So I'm kind of glad that Popol and Koopa is such a point of discussion because he's such a unique hero in Mobile Legends, right? He's essentially one of the first few heroes, if not the first hero ever in the history of our game here, that involves an active unit that is not a hero, that's always present. Right? Zask spawns are there, sure, but they don't move around. They're technically not units. Vexana summons ghosts. Faram summons ghosts, but they're not technically units. So, Popol and Koopa here is such a mechanically unique hero that maybe, just maybe, if the right team can make him work, I'm not saying it's Brenny Sports, but I have seen him do it, then maybe it could be something that might need an answer very soon.
Okay.
Despite Blacklist losing game number 3 with that Popol and Koopa, I felt that they had the right mentality in how they were playing it early game, despite them losing. Onyx was just outplaying them in that series, but I felt what their mindset was, what their game plan was with that Koopa playing aggressively early. I think the sweet spot is there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just not the right time to put it in because, again, Onyx was playing like fundamental Onyx, and they were playing prime Onyx in game 2 and 3 of the last series. So that's like saying, you know what, spaghetti is good, but spaghetti is not good with ice cream, right? It's not the good right timing. It's just it doesn't match. So
Yeah, if anything, it seems like Onyx PH have already put up their shields, and you're trying to bombard them with arrows that obviously will not connect, no matter how hard you try, and all of a sudden they're right in front of you. That's literally what Onyx PH did in game number 2 with their I forgot what army that was, but there was this medieval army that used to just turtle their way, that they formed this shield wall.
The phalanx.
Yeah, the phalanx.
Spartans.
There you go. Yeah, it was the Spartan phalanx. There you go. Yeah.
The Roman phalanx.
That's what they did. Yeah.
You know what?
I think that's a great metaphor for it.
Yeah. What was happening essentially was Onyx was playing their best rock, and then Blacklist International with their Popol and Koopa, they were playing an awesome scissors. No one can deny they have the best scissors in the game, but it's always gonna be scissors to rock, and it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Best scissors.
I like
That's
that.
true.
I like that imagery. It's like, I feel that's so perfect for the Popol and Koopa conversation.
Yeah. Like imagine like a very strong scissor, like it's a giant one, like facing
the best
like a
scissor you could
like a
ever
sturdy
come
rock,
up with.
right? But it can't. It's a rock. Yeah. That being said, I think that the way you approach PNK in the meta is just it's not the best hero ever, right? I think that's how we should look at it. It's not the most powerful. It's not like your one size fits all hero. If anything, treat it like a Natalia, that you have to draft around it. You have to use it in a way that it will not be countered by your opponents. Play it like a Valir, that it fits in a very good situation. And obviously, that did not happen in the previous match. So yeah, I think that PNK, as strong as it is, it's not the best. You still have to draft around it. I think that one thing that's really bugging me right now is how is it that Thams is not being talked about by players, by casters, but it's probably like the most picked and banned and highest win rate hero. I don't know the stats yet, but I assume just in my right mind, whoever picks the Thams almost always wins the game. Or how do you feel about the hero? I think for me personally, I'm not a master of the hero yet. You know what? I'm gonna learn that hero. I have that hero. I'm gonna learn that. I'm gonna put it in my hero pool because I think it's great. What do you see in this hero, and why is it not the topic of the town when it comes to the side lanes?
I think he's not a topic because he's been there for a while. He's been ubiquitous in Mobile Legends since the beginning. So so it's like people they just let him, like, okay, pick it. But the thing about Thams, what makes him so good is his early game. Like his first 5 minutes, it's just so hard to kill the hero. He just needs Festival of Blood. And he can sustain against 3 heroes, no problem. I mean, he'll die eventually, but he'll make so much space for the rest of the team.
Yeah. Omnipresent is how I'd say. He's actually a relatively new hero. He came out alongside Lunox, if I'm not mistaken, like they were next to each other. And essentially, the reason why I think he's not as talked about is because his effects or his contributions to a team aren't as flashy as you'd like, you know? He's not even gonna have the best participation rate because he's always in the side lane, and he's not gonna have the most kills because really those are gonna go to your core anyways. The thing about Tams is he's such a role player in that if you don't, as the opponent, if you don't give attention to this Tams, he's gonna wreck your lane. If you do put too much attention on him, it's gonna take you too much time that you're giving the rest of the other heroes on the team that you're fighting so much space, right? So, Mr. Swarley.
I have an analogy for you. He called Tams the role player, and he's basically the Dennis Rodman of Mobile Legends right now. He's doing it. He's doing it all. He's doing it all. He does everything. He can do the damage if you leave him. He can do the objectives if you leave him, and he can be an off tank, basically. Just a jack of all trades, and he can do it also well.
Yeah, I like it because when you're looking at the all-time greats of the NBA, Rodman is like one of those guys you argue for it. It's like, what about Rodman? And it's the same thing about Tams. Like, what about Tams though? Yeah. And we're always talking about the Atlas. We're always talking about the Angela. We're talking about these newfangled heroes, or even the Claudes and the Lings. But what about the Tams, right? And you know what? I like it because they both have like the booty defense. You know what I mean? They got the booty defense.
Exactly.
You try to catch the Tams. You try to catch the Tams, he's gonna pop the Inferno, and he's got the booty defense.
Yeah. All right. I love it. It all makes sense now, right? Yeah, Dennis Rodman of the Mobile Legends side, Thams. Another hero now that I want to talk about, that's also talked about a lot of times, is Claude. Claude was nerfed. Supposed to be nerfed. And honestly, before, I think that the most recent patch kind of touched upon Claude. But why the hell did this hero, when he was nerfed, came back to the meta in even a top priority? Is it because of the teams knowing how to funnel him? Is it because of the playstyle? Or is it something else? Swirly Leo, what do you think about the Cloud or Claude?
The Cloud. Well, okay. Remember the SG Dragons game when they had that Angela? So it's like, let's go back to the NBA analogy right here.
Okay.
So you have Claude. Let's call him Jordan for now. He's always been a highlight. With Blazing Duet, he's always been a highlight reel. But people learned how to defend against him. So for Claude to still be effective, he needs that Pippin, that Angela. He needs that one hero that can complement him so well, just so he can still be the highlight material. Because that Blazing Duet is always gonna be part of the highlight reel no matter what.
Okay.
You know what? I agree. But that analogy could, or you know what? This whole Claude is the future. The Cloud is the future. Thing can still happen regardless of the Angela. The Angela is, I think, the icing on the cake. Because I think what really makes Claude the all-star marksman that we see him now is because of his unique kit. So you have a hero here that is the core that can potentially protect himself. No other marksman can do that. Yeah. So I think that's why Claude is just so ubiquitous to the core.
Your team is
that makes sense. Because his kit has so much utility compared to other marksmen. Going back and thinking about it, he has that BMI, one of the best escape skills. He has that Art of Thievery, which has so much utility. If you can keep that buff
Your
up, and you
team
can
is picking.
reduce the attack speed of the enemy as well, just cause so much.
Let's see. So it's more like the hero is just fundamentally strong. I mean, on the most.
There we go. Wow,
The
wow.
top
Look at that.
four, and they are considering it. I mean, STI facing against Bren.
Your team is picking.
Michael Jordan is here. Claude gonna be picked up by STI. Bren Sports banning out PNK. Safety measures for Bren Sports and the Uranus as well. A lot of heroes open actually. Now, if you're Bren Sports now,
Natalia.
my question is, will you go for like another marksman, or will you go for something
Your
like
team is picking.
another fighter, like a Ling, like a high speed, high tempo hero to face this one?
Hello.
Hello. All right, that's
Sorry,
my question.
I was cut off. I was cut off. No, I didn't hear.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna repeat the question. If you are Brenny Sports, will you match STI with a marksman, with another marksman of your choice, or will you go for a fighter type like a Ling or maybe a Helkert? Any other hero that has faster tempo compared to a Claude?
Picking.
Well, if you're Bren Esports, you don't really want to play. You know, if you know you're like the superior team, you don't really wanna play for the opponent. You play for yourselves. I feel so. They should just play their own tempo. They don't have to adjust too much against that Claude. But seeing that, you know, STI, they were definitely influenced by the SG Dragons when picked that one up. But totally different. I think STI, sure, they're mechanically skilled, but how much have they practiced this strategy that they're learning from SG Dragons?
Your team is
This strategy is just so. I'll be honest. I really think that it's cheese. The Angela and Claude combination is cheese to me because it's so simple and it's so easy to do. You have an offlaner in Angela and you just have your Claude that you're funneling to. Angela can just do Angela things elsewhere until the fight ensues. There's no way or no time for the Angela to really ever be anywhere that the Claude is until they need the heart guard. So with that being said, I think Bren here, they can afford to pick up a Ling, or they can even go to the LeBron of marksmen in carry. I think they can afford to do that. Because again, if you stick to the fundamentals and you let a team that could arguably be of less skill than you, or at least you're in a better place than they are, then if you stick to what you know, then you're most likely going to be successful. So Brenny Sports here, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they go for the Ling, maybe they go for the carry, but they could just go either way and they'll be fine, I think.
Ooh.
This is gonna be an off lane Angela, and then the safe lane Esmeralda. So I think because Diggy and Hydos definitely gonna be the ones to help this Claude fulfill the funnel, right? Brenny Sports, however, considering either the export or the 1-1, or I might have seen that differently. It goes back to the carry.
There you go.
Brenny Sports.
And we go full circle.
Atlas. Yeah, full circle. Honestly, this carry, not the perfect game for the carry, but I guess it's the term is comfortable for Brenny Sports, to say the least. They have Atlas, they have Kaja, they have the playmakers. I'm not sure, however, how they will play the Natalia. Where is this Natalia gonna go? Is this going to be a support? Because you already have Atlas and Kaja, so is this gonna be a Kaja core?
Atlas Kaja mid. No, Atlas Kaja mid. It's gonna be it's gonna be a funnel. I think it's gonna be a funnel.
Okay.
So funnel versus funnel. But in the long run, STI's lineup does look pretty clean, but and on the part of execution, STI hasn't really been the best. So unless that Claude has the best game of his life, this won't be as easy as STI would like. So Bren, I mean, sure, they have the kind of harder to execute draft, but I think purely on the draft wise, I'm trying to think who, just no bias, not thinking of the teams. I go for STI.
Okay.
No
Swarly,
draft,
STI.
just purely draft. Purely draft.
Leo, what do you think real quickly? No explanations at all.
Bren.
Bren for Leo, Bren for me as well. 2-1 split in the panel for the first time, but we are now giving it to the casters. It's Rockhart and Zaya once again. Take it away.
All troops.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 1 STI versus Brand Esports. I'm Rockhart, and speaking very, very shortly, next after me will be the lovely Saya. How are you?
Hi, Rockhart. Here I am, really intense. You know, I mean, I get it why the panelists had a lot of time. You know, really analyzing what happened because. In terms of drafting, Rockhart, everything is on point for both STI and Bren. If you're not gonna look at the teams, but looking here, if you were going to base the performances on the group standings, Rockhart, I think I'll be siding on Bren on this one, simply because they have the Natalia in play as well as the Thoms and Atlas to compensate it up. But you know what, looking at here at the map right now, it looks like the space is going to be given to the respective markments efficiently.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Marksmen are gonna have a pretty fun time. Especially Lembot on that Lord, obviously gonna have all the time, all the support, all the shields in the world. He has speed up from that high loss, slows down the enemies. 2 amounts of shielding, anti-crowd control. Like everything you could do to make a strong marksman, STI has. Problem is, that's the only thing that they did. And now, basically, Brand Esports, everyone wants to kill. We'll have to wait and see if the Flambo's gonna be able to survive the onslaught.
Yes, and looks like for the side of Brand, they are going to prioritize the bottom side right here. Then. You know, still sticking to the fundamentals, going for scales. Natalia here is going to roam anytime soon, but for the side of STI, they are going for a 3-man setup onto the middle side. And the same thing for Brent here onto the bottom. I like the priority in terms of the tower takes for the side of Brent.
Yeah, tower takes will be very easy considering a majority of your enemies are supports, so not much options in terms of defensive capabilities. But of course, they will. It's all relies too much on Lembo. I feel bad for the guy because he has so much running on his shoulders right now, and everyone in Bren is like wondering, okay, guys, look for Lembo, or if not, go ahead and go for the next nearest. Softest one, which I'm not sure why they're going for the high loss, but he has the hard guard from the Angela. Probably still has the time drain from the Diggy, but not gonna be affected too much. Angela, way too deep into enemy lines, wants to go for the kill. One of the scariest Angelas you'll ever see. But Lord will be taken down in the end.
Okay, so that went that quickly escalated. You're going to agree with me on this one, Rockhart. Okay, I get it that they wanted to secure the Hylos earlier because they threw him away and they did it with a divine judgment. Okay, that's fine. It's kind of weird in judgment because you went for a tanky hero, but it went into their favor because the Angela right here had a little misjudgment in terms of calculating the damage. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough, and it was really on the turf of Brent.
Yeah, well, to be fair though, I think at that point, Lard was the hard guard disappeared in the middle of like 3 enemies.
Yeah.
So you were gonna die anyway. So might as well go try to take someone with you. I think that was what's going around Lard's mind in that regard.
Yes.
And right now, there's gonna be a bit of a pickle here. Oh my God. Just as I was saying, the most important member going down here for STI, followed shortly by, of course, Nixu on the Esmeralda. All the damage dealing capabilities of STI shut down really, really quickly here by Brand Esports.
Yes. You have to take into consideration, Rockhart, that you mentioned that the majority of the lineup of STI is more on supports. So it doesn't really compensate the whole kit that the Claude is giving, and it's kind of like a mashup because with all the supports that you have, Okay, sure. But take note, you only have one core damager right here, which is the Claude. So you haven't to take into consideration that with the supports you have to complement it too with the damage output that your team brings.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were expecting more damage output from Nixu, right? Maybe they were expecting Nixu to do a lot better here, but right now 0-1 and 0 on the Esme cannot actually walk outside of the map. It's becoming a really, really big problem. Right now, Dokmen on the high loss might be just a walking cannon fodder here, because right now Lembot, I want to see the itemization soon, because I feel like everyone's gonna be just watching that, right? So look at that, no damage from Blazing Duet just yet at level 9. It looks very problematic.
It is, because it should have like the damage output at least on against Bren, but going right here, I think I'll give it enough space. And the fact during the early minute of the game, you also have to consider that, because for the side of Bren, they were the ones given space. They were the ones who were given that amount of XP and gold to really, you know, utilize the current map control that they have right now. Because take note, they've already teared down the first tier turrets, and secondly, they have the second tier top tower to actually destroyed as well. So the thing is, this is a bit. It applies more pressure as a Divine Judgment will be used. Time's Journey to debuff, but unfortunately, this wastes a lot of resources for the side of STI.
Nixu, one. I think that was close to like 10 HP. Just one more hit. Big Heart Guard just in time. Again, he's still safe, but everyone is just scrambling for resources right now. And Brand, they're like shark in the water here, going for a big kill. Gonna be negated there. A dive from the Atlas, removed by Time Journey. Looking alive here, STI still has Lemon in the middle. He is half HP, but no damage to be found. Dokman, he's all alone. He's taking the damage. No one is about there to help. Now, question is, how's the items here, Lembot? How you doing? And right now, Rebo, he can take you out really quickly. He's 3-0 and 0 on the Natalia that has Execute. You gotta be careful.
And speaking of another pick-off, that is one for the bag. Natalia is just, you know, swiftly roaming around and gets a potential kill for himself. And Carl TZ, you know, as much as he's not really, you know, getting the ones who's getting the kills, the fact that he's scaling, the fact that he's utilizing the economy that he has, also in a good position every time there are skirmishes fights. It's just plain discipline. It's just plain patience, and you are seeing the effects of it.
Yeah, discipline and patience, all from that practice. No doubt about it, from course, Carl Cheesy of all people. Man, that's a SEA Games gold medalist walked right there. And no doubt one of the best players in that tournament. So far, so good here for Bren Esports. Just need to keep it up. They have an 8,000 gold lead ahead of STI, who are looking very problematic here. And again, starting to really crumble the pressure. What is going to be the battle plan here for STI? If I was shot calling the team for STI right now, what would I be shouting on the comms here? Looking at the items, that's going to be one at least. You got Demon Hunter Sword locked in. No endless battle just yet. I would have probably liked Golden Staff better, but of course he does need the raw damage as well. But you know, you have to weigh it in between Golden Staff and endless battle, I guess. At the same time, you're also looking at a pretty solid Kaja already with Necklace of Durance and of course Fleeting Time. That's gonna be only Divine Judgment. Divine Judgment for days, big problem. And again, Diggy isn't as good as dealing with the suppress as he used to.
Yes, indeed, because Diggy is good when the early game comes, but come the mid to late game, you are starting to see the dwindled effects of the efficiency when a Diggy is into play. So the thing is and that's the problem. The moment that he uses, and speaking of that time judgment, that is just on point for the side of Kaja right here, and just looking how all the HPs dwindle and the positioning for the side of Red Esports right here, dispersing the members of STI. It's just a perfect plan for them, because the thing is, the moment that they disperse or scatter the members of STI, it works well for them because they won't even have the chance for that potential comeback. And here we are seeing the effects of it right now. And I guess this is one off the hooks for the side of Red Esports, really finishing off game number 1 here.
Yeah, no contest whatsoever. Game 1 going over to Bren Esports. I gotta say, that was a massacre if I've ever seen one myself, with so many things going wrong at the same time. And this was discussed earlier as well. Like, this is in theory, this is easy to execute. Just press an ultimate and you're there, which is a majority. Which is the reason why a lot of players like heroes like the Angela. Instant response, instant shielding. But again, it relies so much on one moving part to work efficiently over and over again, which is Lembot. Which, again, on the other side, they drafted a lineup that automatically destroys members even if there's a time journey, like you saw earlier. Diggy, as long as you go for the Divine Judgment straight to the Diggy first, if you're a Kaja, he can Divine Judgment all he wants, he can time journey all he wants, nothing's gonna happen. So that's -1 already, and now you have a composition that's almost all supports and a Lembot.
Yeah, and I agree with you earlier, because the Angela is really dependent onto the Claude earlier. And of course, that that's also -1 for the side of STI in terms of for Bren getting a pickup, because Diggy, once he uses the times journey, it's done. That usually his task is done. Yes, and the disadvantage of that is if he gets caught, that's +1 for Bren. Another thing is, if Angela's done, utilizing all the shields and all the barriers, that's again another potential pickup, because overall the composition of STI is really squishy. But Rockhart, let's see what the panelists think about that game, because to us, I think it's both a massacre. Wolf and the gang, take it away.
Thank you once again, Rockhart and Sia, in that one-sided, lopsided match between Bren Esports and STI, as expected, at least from Wolf and Leo. But Swarly, you believed that STI could have pulled it off. What did they do wrong that match? As we are greeted by Cups, I believe. All right, Swarly, what do you think?
What did they do wrong in that match? Well, definitely it was too many eggs in one basket, and that basket was Claude. Like, Nixu, he was the only tempo in that game in hindsight. Like, if he didn't have a good start, no one was gonna control the tempo for that Claude to become the raid boss that STI wanted him to be.
And again, you're gonna be seeing the highlights here, and at no point really was Bren Esports in threat, right? They didn't feel at all that STI's lineup was something to fear, because again, they finished so early. What is this? 10 minutes, something, a few seconds. This carry, what we usually expect to go late, just really went online as soon as Carl TZ built his first few core items. But the thing is really here, I mentioned earlier, this Angela and Claude lineup, I think mainly why Swarly here went for the Blacklist lineup, I think it's cheese. You really need something else to go with the cheese. You can't just have cheese as it is.
True.
It can't be the main thing.
Because cheese in itself is a side, or a condiment. Something like that.
That's an analogy.
No, you know what?
I get it.
MVP is few on the Kaja. So we did expect that this is a core Kaja, right? This is a core Kaja. If we just look at the name, I did not observe that well, because I think that we are looking from a different perspective when we are looking at the screen, right, during the game. But do you approve of this core Kaja? Technically speaking, a core Kaja, rotating Kaja, whatever you say. With you, Do you think this is going to be a norm, at least for Bren Esports?
Very well, maybe, with how well they played, because I think they went back to the drawing board. They saw what wasn't working in their lineups over their last few losses, and they adjusted. Like what you said, you wanted Few to be more of that tempo control. He can't be on that passive hero. And Bren, definitely, it seems they're going in that direction.
Yeah, I'd like to argue the term core Kaja. Again, in its essence, Kaja is a support hero, and he can't get kills on his own. Like, he always needs someone to follow through when he goes in for the flicker, divine judgment. And I like the choice here of the pull yourself together plus flicker. It helps to hasten or quicken the cooldown of your battle spell. And yeah, I think this now goes to the argument that we were making earlier about Few, or the idol of the youth, because he was always put into a support role or a passive hero that usually goes into the side lanes and then just does a job. I think the Kaja here that he was played in game 1 was a little more towards what we wanted. It's a little more of what we expect. It's a hero that always sets the pace and is one of the high skill cap heroes. Really, it's such a big decision in such a big way to start fights, flickering in divine judgment, the important targets on the other team, and again that -1 that Rockhart always says, the -1 that Seiya also notices. It's such a big deal to take out one big piece of the opponent's puzzle and then go from there.
Yeah,
Tempo
I think
control
I
Few
agree with
is
that.
the way.
Yeah, and I think that there's a high skill cup. Kaja is also a high skill cup hero, right? We are now.
I mean, if
having
you're short
draft.
on your flicker, it's crazy.
Yeah, if you don't manage your mobility, your lightning ball, and your flicker, you're not gonna have it. And honestly, I want to see Few in those heroes like the Selena, right? A lot of dashes, and the carry, a lot of dashes. The Lunox that he plays, Kaja might be a little bit in there, but the way I look at Few, he's not afraid to experiment in these kind of heroes, right? Kaja used to be a support. He's gonna play it from a quote-unquote supporting role. Not a support role, but a supporting role. If you get what I'm saying, right? But yeah, Bren Esports versus STI, draft for game number 2. What can we expect, ladies and gentlemen? Hello? Swirly. Alright, Leo, you gotta help me here. What can we expect from both of these teams?
Okay, I think Bren here, I think they're feeling the swag. They did not ban the PNK, the Popol and Koopa. So I'm guessing they might pick it up here. This is a chance for them to do so. If not, it might be another go for them to again, lock in the fundamentals. You know, pick up the Kaja, pick up the Tams. But no! We have been blessed with...
Alright.
Okay, I think I'm back now. Okay.
Yeah,
STI,
Leo was so
they're gonna
hyped.
go with the...
I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to
they
the
were
so
party,
hyped.
Swirly.
Alright,
Welcome to
Swirly.
the party.
What do you
So
think?
I'm guessing you were hyped because of the Popol. Pretty sure you were hyped because of the Popol. Definitely, I mean, we were talking about it time and time again over that prolonged break. I want to see how the Kings play this hero. But STI is still going with that Claude. At least this time around, they're not going all in on that Claude, picking it alongside the Tham. So a much better start for the draft, I feel, for STI.
Claude and Tham says they will go back to
Your team
funneling.
is picking.
I think that the problem I have with picking Claude and Thams in the first stages of the game is that you kind of give away your strategy already. I don't see any other way for STI to play the Claude and Thams, but apart from the 1-3-1 rotation or the hyper carry funnel, because that's just how they operate. We're going for Diggy. So again, they have shown us their hand. STI, although they are getting the top picks and the most successful heroes of the season, I think they're still giving away their strategy already. Do you agree with me, Swarly and Leo?
Definitely. I think it's a very early tell if you're picking your course this early in the game.
Your
I mean,
team is picking.
I don't like the Diggy this early as well. Because doesn't feel right. He's not as good as he used to be. And picking him this early when you could have gone with another more flexible hero
Your team is
is
picking.
questionable. But yeah, at least they pick up the Kaja, which I feel it doesn't solve all of their problems at this point. Like they lack
It
the team
doesn't.
fight
It doesn't.
for STI. It
It
doesn't.
doesn't.
The-
But on paper, this is such a good pickup for STI. I'll be real with you. The Diggy pickup. This is one of the most valuable Diggy pickups you could get in any draft, because the first 3 heroes that Bren picked up were all heavy CC heroes. You've got the Arrow, you've got the Fatal Links, you got the Bite from Popol and Koopa. So with that being said, the Diggy I think I understand, but the Kaja, the Kaja is just good stuff. The Kaja is just good stuff, and the Kufa is
Kaja
just a
Court?
nice frontliner. They don't have it. I'm guessing. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. But
Kaja Core.
the closing picks on the side of Bren just really shows us that this is going to be a Popol and Fupa that's going to be support that builds up later into a carry.
Okay.
And he went with the Revitalize? No, Purifier. Purify.
That's
I think
Purify, yeah.
PNK
All
went
right.
with, PNK went with the Purify.
Very quickly, Swirly
But-
Leo, who do you think is gonna win this?
Draft I don't like playing a hero, multiple heroes you just lost with again the next game. So it doesn't feel good for STI definitely. So just Bren. Just gonna go with Bren this time around.
Mm,
Leo, how about
Yep.
you?
it's Popol and Fupa, man. I told you, I saw it yesterday, so I'm guessing it's going to work again today. So,
Yeah.
Bren.
All right. It's bleeding yellow or golden at least, golden black for this panel as we now unanimously vote for Bren. But will another yellow team rise to the top? We will know. Rockhart and Seiya take us through the action.
Thank you so much to our analyst desk. We are back here for game 2 of STI versus Brent Esports. I'm Rockhart. This is Seiya. Everyone is bleeding black and yellow. Is that going to be your call as well?
Yes, indeed. Because like what I've said during our previous matches, if this is a revenge game or a redeeming value or to find your inner peace, if you are gonna try again the same hero, it's not gonna work. And they are using what? The Claude, the Thumbs, the Diggy once again. Oh wait, the Claude and the Diggy once again. And we already witnessed that it's not going to it wasn't efficient during game number 1, especially that the Claude wasn't given the space that he initially wanted. So to me, I am black and yellow all over, Rockhart. How about you?
All right. Well, I think so. I think that's just very safe assumption. They said it might be a core Kaja. Obviously, most likely just an off lane, right? So I still see a bright future here ahead for Bren for sure, obviously. But of course, I want to be proven wrong here because STI, they got everything to gain. I don't think at this point you got anything to lose, right? Because there's just nothing to lose for these guys at all.
Indeed.
I would just play the game. I would just have fun with this. And, well, heroes that they have are quite fun, I gotta say. So, not bad.
Yes, because in comparison with game number 1, the overall composition of STI is much in terms of having a 4th and then 1 core lineup during the previous game. But now I think it looks like that Bren is on the top, but meanwhile here onto the bottom side, it looks like Coco will be in a pinch, uses the flicker, will be using his second skill, but again picked off by...
Man, all right, we're looking good here so far. And again, first blood goes to STI just like that. Bren Esports on the top lane, though, will be picking up that tower, making full use of the tankiness of Koopa to make sure they can tank it and take it out really nicely before the 2-minute mark. And now, it's going to be a rotation on bottom side. Will we see some action?
is the ideal thing to do, because if you already see like what more members of SCI on bottom, it's bound that you go and respond. And Lard right here with a little brink of health uses his flicker out instead of flickering in for a potential pickoff, which is your go-to call because that was risky. And speaking of risky, Rockhart, again another play will come here. Lasty here flickered at an untimely manner and now invested his resources and will be taken down by the members of STI.
All right, well, that was way too deep for my liking, and Brent Esports giving away a second kill here because of that. Lembot already locking the Raptors' machete. I think that's pretty good time. We'll have some damage output to help him out during his farming phase. Now, so far, we have few on the top side doing a lot better, I would say, on the Koopa, on the Popol and Koopa than most people we've seen today. Considering he does have a great lineup as well.
All right, it looks like they are ready to position themselves, Rockhart here, you know, really wanting to contest. Oh, it looks like it's going to be stunned by Koopa in a bit, but no, it was meant to harass, which is a good thing usually, because the thing that you want to prioritize the most is the objectives, and that is what Bren is, you know, shifting their gears at. And, you know, we'll just transition to the middle side, get as much resources as you can.
Yeah, I mean that's the game right there. Want to play a resource game again? You want Lembo? You want to play a resource game? We're gonna play a resource game as well. We got a pretty solid Bruno here, and Carl TZ, who has been known to really skyrocket in terms of gold whenever he goes on the marksman. Also, probably the reason why Brent Esports is so good in most stages of the game. Now, Carl TZ is usually on the mage role. Really like watching him on a marksman role play too.
Indeed. Oh, that was a nice reverse time to really prevent Rebo from coming in any closer for a potential pickup. But you know, Rockhart, I'm trying to analyze this all, and I think I'm getting the pace where Bren is going at. If you notice, they aren't as aggressive as they usually do, because this is what makes it magical. You know that their overall composition is more onto the mid and late phases of the game, and that's that's the type of timeline that you want to make this game reach. And if you look at they're just going resources, they're just shoving away the members of Bren, not really going on an aggressive fight. And that's the good thing. And speaking of aggressive fight, that was off cam onto the middle side of the lane, utilizing that tower dive potential. And Rockhart, I gotta say, we're already coming to the mid to the late phases of the game, and I think this is going on to the momentum that Bren wants.
Yeah, riding on that awesome abyssal arrow hits, you have to make sure you use Rebo as well on the Selena. And if he can get that, there's a lot of people who can follow it up. Lasty's obviously going to be very easy to dive onto almost perma-stunned hero, and followed up shortly by Few sending Koopa out to bite that enemy, disable him, while everyone else on Bren just has so much damage. Item check, barely into Demon Hunter Sword so far for our hero of STI, Nyx, Lembot. And that's not a good sign at this point. Hopefully we can change that. Hopefully that changes sometime soon. But the way things are going, I mean, like Brent Esports, they want an early dinner. You know, they want to get some of that grub already, because this is running really quickly. For 5 minutes, you're already breaking second tier tower in mid lane, which is scary.
I agree with you. Yes, indeed. And you know what? The amount of space that the carry is really, utilizing with the help of the members of Bren, it's something that you have to really take into account. But Bruno rather, sorry, not a carry, Bruno. And the thing is, like what I said earlier, the pace that Bren wants is to usually go to mid game, because if Bruno and company are really well utilized during that phase, and we are seeing it right now. But the thing is, as early as it is, we're almost at the end game. I don't want to conclude, but it's starting to show that direction. Unless, of course, the members of STI manages to snag about the squishier heroes of Bren, and really pin it down without getting a casualty in exchange, is or can be the miracle team fight for STI.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the money Divine Judgment so far, so I haven't seen any good resources being taken, and those skills are not being utilized very, very well. Unlike on the other side, everyone's just damage output. Let's go and take a team fight like what's happening right now. Turtle will be taken by Carl TZ while everyone else is on top lane, picking up kills one at a time. Of course, Lasty will fall down. Too many tower hits going to be taken up here, but all the while, Carl TZ was actually in the mid lane, pushing up bottom as well as this mid tower getting a lot of resources for his own.
Yes, indeed. And do take note that was 2 pickoffs on Bren and 1 for STI side. So, looking back, that's the thing. That's a good skirmish fight to compensate and to gain just a little bit of gold. But you have to take into consideration that in terms of economy, Bren is, a step ahead. And with the limited resources that STI has, since the only ones that they have are the incoming minions, and because probably the ones under turf are being stolen by Bren, capitalizing the advantages that they have. And
yep,
like what we both said, they just really need to pick off at least one of the squishier heroes or pin them down. But I think that's not gonna happen soon, Rockhart.
Yeah, it's an easy play here from Carl TZ. Long-range critical hits are already feeling very, very painful here on side of Bren Esports, with the frontliners not really suffering too much casualties. Coco very, very happy on that X-Borg, just absorbing all the damage and then life-stealing it back through the long-range flamethrowers. And right now, bottom lane, that's going to be a pull onto Copa. Just use a Divine Judgment on the summon, which is very, very sad, and also a power of that hero, you know?
I mean,
that's a
I
soft
also
target.
get you. Yeah, I get you why you were hyped up, but unfortunately that was Koopa right there. And going back right here, it looks like the team fight is on because there are low members of Bren. Bruno will be getting a pick off on his own by killing that Kufra and still saves the day, and there wasn't any casualty for the side of Bren Esports. So it was a good denial for the side of Carl TZ.
Absolutely. I'm actually surprised that we lost one here for Bren. Again, they are playing a little recklessly, I would say, but they are also doing rightfully so, because they are just so far ahead. Everyone's scared of Carl TZ's normal attacks now, and that's becoming a big problem here for STI. How do we deal with this? And I guess the only answer is to just stay under tower and hope Bren Esports commits a mistake, which is, again, starting to look very unlikely. Bren Esports looking really well put together here.
Look at that damage from the normal hits of Carl TZ. I mean, I get the hesitations why STI aren't really going as aggressively as they are, because look at the damage output that he is inflicting. And take note, what more if they're all grouped together, and that utilizes his ult. And look at that beautiful hit, just like
ouch.
That
hurt.
That
hurt my soul.
Sometimes the silence. Yes, indeed, Rockhart, indeed. Because what we said earlier, when Diggy already uses his time's journey, that's +1 for Bren. And look at Carl TZ just getting all the snacks that he could get even inside the base. And this is just a domino effect. What a torture for the side of Bren right here. Really showing and asserting their dominance as they will be finishing. He really wants it. Okay,
oh my
God.
Seriously! Come on, calm down! What the heck?
They don't want. Look at that! Just look at.
Eat a chill pill! My God, the humanity! Oh
the
man,
massacre,
there's nothing else to say.
The purge! The purge is really real
I'm
for
done.
the side of Esports right here. So dominant. I mean, I get it that they wanna establish the dominance, but man, that's just hard. That's so much of a torture.
Come on, you gotta have a little respect here. Where's the respect? God, this is our territory. What you doing there? Bren Esports coming out with a 2-0 victory. over STI. So,
Dang.
man, we're gonna have a good luck breaking that down. If there was anything I would break down is
Yeah,
two
me
hits.
too.
I just want to look at the amount of damage output that Carl Healy does
Yeah, look
output
at
there.
yeah,
74%.
look at it right now. Oh my
Huge
gosh.
burst.
I mean,
I think that was tanked damage, and oh my gosh, seriously, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that.
the stats speaks for themselves, Rockhart, and I agree with you. I mean, I don't want to laugh it off, but you know, the disrespect is
So
there,
much
and
disrespect.
indeed, and you know, but still, congratulations to Bren Esports for showing a very dominating plays, and you know what? The STI, yes, there was a bit of, you know, I think the composition that they have during game number 2 is a band-aid, but was quickly removed by Bren and added another scar. So
Well, I guess that's gonna be it for that game, right? I mean, it was beautiful to watch, I guess, if you're a fan of Bruno, but other than that, nothing else.
yeah, I guess you could say that Bren Esports are beautiful monsters. But I don't know. Let's see what the panelists think. You know, I think they have, they need to do some breaking down. So Wolf and the gang, what do you think? Well, they don't want to transfer it yet.
I
They
don't
want to
mind.
transfer
I
it
can
into
talk
our
about this all
panel.
day.
Yeah.
First of
Yeah,
all,
me too.
just kidding.
You know what? We leave the talking more onto the panelists area. And again, this is Rockhart. Am I facing it right there? This is Rockhart. My name is
The beautiful monsters. At least that's what Seiya called Bren Esports, and I think I'll have to agree. That was a monstrous performance from Bren Esports. STI, unfortunately, will have to bow down to the only ones who are strong. Bren Esports versus STI. Swarly, Leo, what happened in that match?
Man, throughout that match, I was just watching Few play PNK because his efficiency with the hero was definitely day and night compared with what we saw with Riddler. Like, he was on the other side of the map. He was in the mid lane and Koopa was on the top lane. That's how much he was playing it, and I like it. Like, a lot more micromanagement from him. And I don't know. For me, that was what I really just was focusing on because it was a bloodbath, let's be honest. STI, they were just getting.
The game ended too soon. I think Bren really played the map. And of course, Carl Tizzy as our MVP 1101 here, really making the most of that Bruno and the space made by everyone, including Few on that Popol and Koopa. Again, I was hyping all stream today, and finally we end the evening on that note. But yeah, it was such a fast game, 10 minutes and change, like a few seconds. But if you're gonna look at the items, it's all tanky items. It was a Thunderbelt, it was a Dominance Ice or Ice Dominance, and then I think he was something else. But yeah, definitely something to study here, boys. I'm not sure if it was just a product of this matchup going up against STI or it was something else. But yeah, definitely here, Popol and Koopa, Few made it work.
Yeah. You know what?
I can't
think
wait
this is
for a marquee matchup featuring the Popol and Koopa because, come on, this was Bren against STI, so not really the best of Mobile Legends on display, unfortunately. But yeah, they showed what PNK could be. But I'm more excited to see what a top 4 marquee matchup how they would play that PNK.
Yeah, I think Bren Esports unfortunately already faced the top 4 members and only bowing down to SGD Omega, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that was the case, and now it should be a breeze for Bren Esports, and we might see them experiment more. Which brings me to the question: Few in back-to-back games played support heroes, played in a support manner as well in the support role. He played, I think, Pull Yourself Together with Kaja, now PNK, focusing Mark, support Emblem, even donning the mask when they were rotating as Vi. Is this going to be a trend for Brenny Sports? Like literally have one core and few will be sitting back a little bit, but still as effective as he was, as when he is playing a 100% hardcore core. Yeah.
I mean, I like this Bren. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. Plus, it's nice seeing few enabled.
Would you say it's a
So,
Bren
looking
of
forward,
fresh
I
air? Would you say
A
it's a
Bren,
Bren
I
of
like
fresh
that.
air? No, but the thing
The
is,
Bren
no,
of
no, no,
fresh
sorry.
air, I like it. I like it.
The thing is, this is just character development. It's evolution. And I think given this lineup of Coco, Ribo, Lasty, Few, and Carl, this is just the role that Few has to play now. The El Capitan. Sure, he's playing support heroes or supporting role. But again, depending on which hero it is, it can be a very role. One, it was Kaja. He sets the pace. Come in, Flicker, and Divine Judgment you. Here, it's Popol and Koopa. There's a lot of CC involved, and he's quite tanky. And again, he can really make his presence on the map felt. So with that being said, I think this is kind of Bren is gonna go places, and that place for now for sure is going to be the playoffs.
For sure.
Yeah.
Number one, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the thing with Bren Esports. I think this 2-0 victory puts them really ahead in the group standings. I want to look at it actually. Maybe later I'm going to study how much growth they had in terms of like of getting into the top one. It doesn't matter that much since we kind of feel that they have secured their playoffs spot, right? And I think that the only question now is, will they go to the upper bracket or the lower bracket? And we know already that for MPL, the past 5 seasons, being in the top 4 is a much more comfortable spot than being into ranks 5 to 8, just because of the fact that you're gonna play in the upper bracket wherein you can lose one game, right? One series. The fact. Surely, we are looking at Brenny Sports as the team that's gonna make it there. STI, however, is a team that, yeah, I hear your deep breaths. I hear that. Because it feels like they don't have a chance anymore in the playoffs, right? Or if they have to win every single game from here on out.
Yep.
Now,
literally every single game.
Literally,
not series,
right?
Game. Yeah.
Games. 2-0 all around. Swarling Leo, after this game, after this series, do you think they're the team that can win back-to-back 2-0 games?
It's so weird because we've talked about it, right? The STI, they're not new kids on the block. They're teams that they're players on a new team that have a lot of experience. But with the way they're playing, it's like they're just happy to be here. They're just happy to be in MPL, which is weird. Because these are older guys.
Mm-hmm.
So where did it all go wrong for them?
That's a hard question, man.
I think they'll make it into the playoffs with anything short of a miracle. It's really tough to pull yourself together, no pun intended. But yeah, I don't know, man. Is it really is it something from within? Is it external factors? Is the meta just not working well for these players who have been around for a while? Are they not meshing well? Is it communication problem? We don't know. I really wish to be a fly in the wall in that room where they have their boot camp, but we can only speculate. And the only real stats we have or truths or facts are essentially what we see in the games.
And that's not good news for STI at all. But yeah, if you're a fan of STI, if you are from STI, you're gonna have to pray to all the gods out there for a miracle. Nevertheless,
Renmar is definitely
MPL.
happy.
Yeah, MPL Season 5 of course, brought to us by our sponsors, presented by Smart together with PLDT Smart Foundation, and in partnership with Smart, we can help our frontliners as we stand together to be the real heroes in these challenging times. Support our frontliners through SMS by texting donate to 3456. Donation is open from April 22 until July 16, 2020. Of course, MPL Season 5 is also brought to us by our sponsors, Realme Smartphones, Logitech G, our official headset partner, and organized by Moonton. And we'd just like to remind everyone that our e-party is still in full swing. Still support and get it in on the fun. Just join it. Don't forget to join 515 party in game. It's inside the client, still in full swing. Just look at the official music video and dance and party with us, even when online. All right. Now, I know that we had a long day. We will have a longer day tomorrow, Swarly and Leo. It's gonna be BSB versus Onyx, then followed by Geek Fam versus Blacklist International, and then Execration versus U-Level. Tough matches. I think a lot of teams right there that I just mentioned will be looking to get wins so that they can establish their spot at the playoffs. But that being said, it's good night for now. Thank you so much again for watching MPL Season 5. My name is Wolf with Swarly, Leo, Casters, Rockhart, and Zaya. Now signing off. See you tomorrow.
Still waiting for your epic battle? Wait no more. Make the switch to Smart LTE. And experience greatness with the country's fastest mobile data network.
Squeeze siya. Gusto ko, sa totoo lang, personally, gusto ko laging kausap si Coach Dale in regards to how he mixes yung mga ganitong klase ng lineup. Kumbaga, this is not the usual na makikita mo, pero set that aside, mainit ang magiging laban natin dito sa dalawang kupunan. Starting with you, Berting, what's gonna be your prediction on the first game?
Grabe yung pick ng both teams natin dito. Well, they have the carry. Expected na yung carry to counter the Uranus, also yung ibang heroes dito ng SGD. Pero yung pagkaka-pick ng Angela para dun sa sustain ng isang link. Pero I guess
ilagyan mo ng easy ages yung Ling pagka may Angela ka. So ganun ko siya nakikita, plus the movement speed. So the peak of potential is mas mataas compare sa normal Ling na walang sanib.
5 seconds.
Ginawa nila yan, di ba? Angela Claude.
Angela Claude.
Ginawa nila yan. So, mas maganda lang talaga yung Ling dito sa lineup na gamit nila ngayon kaysa sa Claude. Kaya ginawa nila na lang is Ling and Angela.
Alright. So eto na, pakikilala muna natin Hit para sa kanyang Joy GC using this Ling, Haze para sa kanyang Farsa, Toshi using Uranus, and of course Kenji para sa kanyang Angela.
For the other side naman ng Brand Esports, we have for Balir, Gorkha tapos si Carmilla, lastly for Kufa, Can't Easy Man para sa kanyang carry.
Double hero cut ang pinakikitaga dito ng Brand Esports. Very aggressive banda sa offlane area. Look at that, 1-1 Toshi versus Pew. Pinulado agad si Pew.
Medyo si Pew kasi yung Carmilla kasi though makunat siya mid to late game, early on in the game, kung ganyang class lang din naman yung magiging katapat niya, like Uranus na kapwa niya makunat, medyo lugi siya dyan. No? Unlike kapag ang katapat niya is yung mga marksman, siya yung mga pagka-cut-lane. Instead ngayon, siya yung kinaka-cut-lane ng Uranus.
Oo. Tsaka kasi kung titignan mo, yung look at that, the first blood goes for the side of SGD Umebe. Binigla si Ribo doon, hindi masyado nakakilos. And again, ulitin ko lang sinasabi ko kanina dito, for the Uranus, required ang Uranus maging aggressive kasi dahil sa kanyang emblem, agad papalag siya. And there go, we're already resume sa ating laro.
Yeah. Pang-clutch plays nga, yung pang-clutch plays yung gustong gawin dito nung ating Uranus na si Toshi. Pero here, on the top side muna tayo mga kaibigan, makikita natin talaga namang gustong kunin dito ng Brand yung gold crab at here comes Card. Actually mga kaibigan, tamang
uy! Ganda!
Sila masyadong nagiging aggressive kasi ito, alam nilang yung damage potential ng Brand Esports ito mataas din kaya hindi sila pumapalag talaga.
Tama. Alam mo nakakatakot yung ganun talo ni na GC knowing na meron kasing Valir na kaya siyang i-hold with the slow. So yung pagbalik mo sa pader medyo delikado. Still very aggressive the micro plays there. Sukat na niya yung mga ganyan yung mga pasundot diyan ni GC medyo nakakatakot. Alam mo naman natin na ang isang Ling is squishy hero. Lalo sa early game against sa magical type of hero which is yung Valir.
Actually napansin ko nga sa tono ng boses mo na pagtalo niya talagang gulat na gulat kasi sabi nun bigla siyang nag-dive in ng ganon. Delikado talaga yung ganung klase ng let's play.
Pero let's see. 1-0 pa rin natin score. Medyo tahimik lang. In terms of team fight, they're trying to gain or get their composure muna. And later on makakabuelo. Etong si Toshi tagaw. Tingnan mo yung sobrang agresibo niya. Na ganyan siya kalalim sa early game. Alam niya rin kasi yung position ng SGD Omega if ever bebueltan siya sa likod.
Though naman yung Carmilla ganun din halos yung ginagawa with the block player here on the blue side. Tamang ganda from easy. Slide in, slide out. Easy, dangerous. On a very dangerous spot dito sinusubukan ng bullet pero ang ganda ng blocking dito ni paring Lasty.
Exactly. Alam mo gusto ko yung ginawa dito ni Kenji pumasok siya dito, nag-esa siya kay Ling. It means na ilalabang ko yung buff ko.
Ay, hold up. Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng teamfight Ayun, dapat po. Pero Coco dito still on the go. Inaabot niya hanggang ngayon and that would be another kill for Brand Esports. It's a 1-for-1 in favorite brand mga kaigan, but now they are taking the turtle. Gusto nilang sila ang makalamang in terms of objectives.
Coco Sanity is doing it mga sir, gamit ang kanyang thumbs. Alam naman natin yan na talagang pag gumagamit rin ng thumbs, meron niyang game na nakakambak dahil kay Coco. Look at that, zoning potential from the side of SG Omega. Ipinapauwi dito ng Bren ang isang Uranus. Ito na from the recent clash on point din kasi yung talo ni ni Thumbs
Oo.
Pero hinintay niyo muna ma-burn lahat, tsaka siya gumuho.
Yes, tama yan. Pero nako, mukhang nagkaroon tayo ng bakbakan na medyo hindi natin napansin dito sa bot lane, and that would be the reason why Toshi is now dead, mga kaibigan.
3-2 ang ating score. Bolabo. Ang cute pala ni ni Joey pag pinasukan ni Angela. Parang ang laking bilog. Kala ko si Kufra. Doon napansin ko lang na nag-SS sa kanya si Angela. Medyo doon ko napansin na ay head pala. Akala ko si Kufra. Ito, bueno to, Max.
Ako, nag-aabangan na with the bouncing ball lang din naman, Haze. Tumakbo mga kaibigan niya naka-purify. Pero lastly dito, counter-isip yung na-injector dito ni paring Eve. Nako po, what a huge misplay coming from SG Omega.
Yan, regawin ko po sure. Round 2. Eto na, binabantayan na talaga yung blue buff dito. Nasaan? Si Link. There you go. Napakaganda na dito. Pero si Haze masyado